Hi, Teresa here at home recuperating from the coronavirus. And yes, I know I am not looking myself, but however, this is what the coronavirus does to you. So I just wanted to be a little realistic with you today and to talk to you about safety. One of the things that one of my sons told me, he said, "Mom," he said, "you're the one who got the coronavirus, and you're the one who wears a mask all the time." I'm not gonna call his name, but I thought it was a little hurtful, but it was an eye opener because I began to think about it and asked myself, well, how is it that we got the coronavirus? Well, I got it from my husband, who is a truck driver, and he guarantees me that he always wear his mask and he get out and he sanitize and he keep his distance. But he was actually sick on the road, and he came home, and I saw that he was experiencing some symptoms that looked more than what he thought was a sinus infection, because he was having all the nasal drainage, the coughing, the mucus, the pain in the head, the sinus pain and pressure. So I insisted that we go to take the quick instant test, and we did. We took that and we got our results back within 20 minutes. Mine were negative, but his was positive, and because I had been exposed, the doctor did inform me that more than likely I would develop it within 24 hours, and 24 hours later I began showing symptoms. Our symptoms were totally different though. And I'm going to show you my husband. He's over here asleep. At least I was trying to show you my husband. Here's him. And but the thing that was so ironic about it was his symptoms. He had a lot of probably sinus, flu-like coughing symptoms, where he had the headache consistently. His head hurt for him. We're here in day 11 or 12, and he's had a headache every day. And his coughing and his mucus, and of course, because he has a CPAP already. I thought about it. I said, well, that had to be totally useless right now, because that was a point of infection. And he thought perhaps having to use a CPAP was what was causing him to have a sinus infection, and it wasn't. It was coronavirus. And then my symptoms were totally different, because I didn't have the fever temperature as he did until maybe the third day. I had a fever of 99.7. His had gotten as high as 101. I didn't have as much coughing. I had a slight cough and a small amount of mucus. Not that much mucus, but I had a lot of body aches and pains. Starting with my knees, my left knee, which was the knee that my cartilage had been in for years, had been damaged, and all of a sudden it just hurt as if I had had an accident or an injury to it. Then it went from a knee to, I think the first day I saw a bruise on my back, on my right side, and I was suspecting probably a blood clot or something, because I started having back pains. But the back pain came to the other side, and it's been consistent. The fatigue is real. You don't have energy, no energy at all. You're totally in malaise. I probably, when I get up in the morning, may feel like I have energy, and I get up and I, do a few things, and boom, it hits you, and you're like nothing. You can't move. You can't even reach and grab anything. And I would try to get up and get some fluids in my system, take a shower. One thing that I did, I had toothbrushes, the little cheap dollar toothbrushes, where it comes maybe 7 or 8 in a pack, and I would change out every day, so I wouldn't use the same toothbrush, and I wouldn't put my toothbrush head on the toothpaste to keep down infection. And we would try to change and wash the sheets every night or every other day. I spray and sanitize. We were blessed that I have a sister-in-law who brought us a lot of things that we couldn't even find at first. She brought us disinfectants and aerosol cans, and she would put it on our outside of our on our porch, and one of us try to go and get it. And one of my stepdaughters, she's been really good, a lifesaver. She has gone to the store several times for us and picked up food for us and dropped it off outside. And then our yard was looking atrocious. So one of my stepsons, he came over finally, and he pulled out our lawnmower and cut that down for us. And we just haven't been able to do anything. My father-in-law, his wife brought us some fruit last night, and we thank him, and some soup and juices. And it's been hard. This coronavirus is something real, and I want to talk to you all about safety, because you're probably going to say, coming from the woman who has coronavirus, well, this is the thing. We did everything that the CDC said. We wore our mask all the time. I had several different masks that I use. The KN95 were better than the little blue paper mask. And I think for me, that was the mask of my choice. And I got a little more protection than the regular mask, which my husband mostly wore. And we both had hand sanitizer in our vehicle. We also had a concoction of water, dish detergent, and bleach that we wash our hands with, and paper towels, and we would use both. When we go into the stores, we practice social distancing. And I think one of the stores that always gave me a red flag was Walmart. Walmart always have people who are not wearing masks. I don't care. And they try to tell them not to come in, but for some reason, people go into the store and they take it off, or they pull it down. And that's the crazy in all of it, because I truly believe, excuse me, I lost my phone. I actually dropped it. I truly believe there are people who know they're infected, and they're going into these stores, and it's crazy. Someone said to my husband, you still gotta eat, you still got to go to the store. But no, it is irresponsible when you know you are infected to go around others. You have to quarantine, you have to isolate yourself. That is your moral responsibility. That is your moral responsibility. I haven't seen my mother. I talk to her when I can. She called me twice a day, basically. But I know she's elderly, and I wouldn't want to do anything to get her sick. And I thank God that she has been in the house since this entire epidemic has come around. So we have to do our part. We have to do our part. I'm an educator, and now I know I won't be returning to school when school opens because I'm not well yet. I constantly read about the coronavirus, and I have been trying to stay educated, but ironically, you just sometimes are susceptible. Some of us are weaker in our immune systems, and just those things that are in place aren't enough. They just aren't enough. There's not enough money in the world, in the economy, to replace a life. There's not enough money to make you say that health is not important. I know we're saying the nation has to function, but what is going to happen is you're going to open up the economy, you're going to open the world up, you're going to send kids back to school, and we are going to have a tragic ending in the midst of all of this. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Who's saying it's going to even get better? You know, the way I feel and the way I look, it is not a joke. This is not who I am, but it's a real life thing. And for our president to minimize this, it is inhumane. It is inhumane. And we just got to do better as a nation. But remember, I'm praying always. I have God as my head. He's my light. He's my source. I'm talking to him day in and day out. And I'm trusting him because I believe in healing. I believe in miracles. But we are in a serious fight against the devil. We are in a serious battle right now. The church is in a serious battle. And we have to pray more. We cannot go on with business as usual because this is the way the world is now. And we don't know if it's going to get better. And generally, just to go back and talk about symptoms. The screenings that they were done, that was a poor decision to screen based on temperature. Poor decision because I didn't have a temperature. I did not have a fever at all. And that does not mean you're asymptomatic because other things like diarrhea, that came to me probably the past 3 days. I've had diarrhea so badly. And yes, I am somewhat dehydrated. But my husband, he didn't have a bit of diarrhea. So symptoms vary. They vary. Loss of memory. I've had loss of memory. There are some passwords and things I still can't remember right now. Dizziness, just again, malaise and fatigue. But I've had an appetite. I mean, he has had no appetite. But even though I have an appetite, you can't keep it down. I cannot keep it in my system. And not being able to just generally function. I mean, it throws you off. You are not who you are. But I know there's pains greater than this. People have gone through much worse, and we're going to get through this. And some people are affected even severely now, so I dare not minimize it. I mean, when we've seen the bodies in the refrigerated trucks on television, you know, some places have been hit at a far more detrimental scale than we have. So therefore, open your eyes, people. This is no joke. And I'm here in Tupelo, Mississippi, but yet and still the coronavirus found us, even though we did all we could to follow the CDC guidelines. There needs to be more. There needs to be more. I cannot imagine how many doctors, nurses, physicians, medical specialists have all contracted this in the effort to try to save lives and to find answers, to find a solution, to find a cure, to find a vaccine, to get treatment. Let those lives that have been lost not be in vain. Do your part. Stay at home. Wear your mask if you have to go out, and distance yourselves. Remember, it is not business as usual. There's no normalcy when things are constantly changing at an alarming rate. This is Minister Teresa Ann Claypool right here, and we love you and see you the next time. God's will. Be blessed. Goodbye.